Do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you. Everybody, just like me, we long to be close to you. Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, my beautiful bride.
Dee.
And we're the authors of the book, Make Love, Make Yes. Well, first, I want to welcome everybody, wherever you may be around the world who are watching this. We are so amazed. We just got back from the National Speakers Association Convention in Denver, Colorado, and we were shocked and amazed how many people came up to us, one after another, and said, I watch you every week, or we see your marriage show. Oh, it's so powerful. It's helped our marriage.
Wow.
So we are very grateful for that, and we're very grateful for all of you who watch it around the world.
And our favorite people who
are here.
The
Cazeras are here, and thank you for being so kind and as continuing to support us and being in Denver. We got to see you, and now more people all over the world who are joining us. Greg and Linda are back home. Okay,
West Virginia.
Well, West Virginia. All right, now. Let me tell you about tonight's show. We got a special show for you tonight. Let me tell you about my guest. My guest is, my guests are, is a better way to say it. My guests are actually dear friends of mine. For many people know that maybe you don't know, I went to the American University, and while I was blessed to be able to become friends with the Harris family. And it was during that time with the Harris family that I got to meet these two folks. Their brother actually is my classmate. He's my buddy, but I was introduced to them, and let me tell you, they are a dynamite couple. They are an incredible couple. They are Ty and Pam Harris, and then we're going to talk about them in just a moment to give you more information on who they are and how they came to be. But they are just incredible people, and I want to tell you more about them as I tell you more about what is going on this week. We've been so grateful for the show getting so much impact, and for the people who are saying that it's having an impact on their lives. And that's what we want to do, help people get their lives to another level. And so we are very grateful for that. So we are very grateful for all of the people who have said, you know, this show has impacted. Now, let me tell you about Ty Harris. He is a native DC guy who attended DC public schools. He went to many of the schools in DC, graduating from McKinley Tech, and he had undergrad broadcast journalism and law degrees from American University. He is one of 5 Harrises to graduate from American University. Wow. They're a legacy. They're one boom, 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 boom. And he enjoys interacting with young people. In 1974, he married Pam Higgins, his college sweetheart. She is from Teaneck, New Jersey. And 1976, he joined the DC Bar. But they've been married, and they have a love story. And they kicked off their golden 50th anniversary in June. They will renew their vows October 26th. I'm planning to be there. I'm planning to be there in the A Chapel.
Please.
Where they were married 50 years ago. We were married in that chapel 38 years ago. Same chapel.
Okay.
Renewal, but we got married a year in that chapel. We got married a year before.
That's right.
All right, that's why we've been married 39, but we renewed our vows 38.
Check it out.
After their renewal ceremony, they intend to again break new ground at their reception by hosting a day party fundraiser to benefit the Black Alumni Book Award for AU. And of course, they say you are all invited. Now, Pam, she is a lifelong learner and has worked with social justice and impacted people and impacting people who might have been less fortunate, who have been maybe not given the opportunities. And so they are a power team, a dynamic duo. And they're together for 50 years. Today, we want to talk about the secret. How did you do this? How did you two stay together? Well, how did y'all meet each other?
I don't know.
All right, give us your story. Pam and Ty, welcome to the Jolley Marriage Show, first of all. How did y'all meet? Who gonna tell version? Which version you gonna tell how y'all met?
It's a long story. It's a long. It's a long story, Willie. I'll give you the Cliff Notes. We met at age 15 at a Sweet 16 party. Wow. We met there, danced one time on Ooh Baby Baby, didn't see each other again for another 3 years because she was out of the country and we lived in different cities. Came back together at AU as freshmen, and by sophomores, we were college sweethearts.
Yeah.
Wow. So you met and went at what year did you graduate from AU? What year did you graduate from AU?
1972.
Okay, so you graduated in 72. So you
graduated in 1972.
Okay, so y'all got married 2 years after.
Got married in 74.
Okay, all right. So
yes,
that's correct.
Yes.
But
we were boyfriend and girlfriend.
From 1970.
Yes. Started going together in 1970.
All right, so y'all been together for 54 years. Y'all have been together for 54 years.
Well, I'm glad you're giving that count. I want to say that I'm very glad that you're giving that count, because when I am asked how long have you been with him, I don't just think in terms of the married part of it. I do think in terms of when those seeds were planted, and they were consciously planted in 1970. The 15 years old part was something that we didn't realize would become reality at American University. So 1970 is when we became boyfriend and girlfriend. Yes.
Wow. It sounds like y'all were meant to be together. Okay.
Okay. You're going to say it, or I'm going to say it?
Well, my mom,
yes,
my mother used to say, when it's meant to be, it's meant to be. We think of it as divine order, because when we were dating starting in 1970, I'm telling you, man, we felt something really, really special that we hadn't felt it. We hadn't seen it anywhere else. I mean, and we were just hoping that we weren't delusional. You know what I'm saying? Because it was that powerful. And
soulmates.
What was that? See?
Oh yeah. Best friends first.
Yeah, and
best friends
that's real
first.
important. That's real important. The best friend part of it.
Oh yeah, because when we got there, we were dating different people.
Yeah,
and it took us 2 years to find each other. But once we found each other, now I was scoping her out. I was
scoping him out.
I had a scouting report. All right, I had to trade a few draft picks in order to position myself in the #1 spot. But
it wasn't that hard. You didn't have to work that hard.
I wasn't taking no chances.
So that's point number one. Best friends. Yeah. So folks, we want y'all to learn from this couple. 50 years, they're still in love. They're still like it's number one. What is the secret to sustaining your relationship? Best friends. Best friends. Start our chapter number 1 in our book. Friends first. Friends first.
Yeah.
Okay. So
okay.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say there are two things that come to mind on that, and Ty, of course, will chime in. But I think about the two themes that spontaneously evolved for our wedding. The first theme was "Still Waters Run Deep," and they were inspired by the Four Tops. We listened to those lyrics, while we were falling in love, and for some reason, we absorbed them. as something that would be representative of how it is that we were experiencing the love that was developing in us. So still waters run deep, and meaning that at those depths is where you really have the potential to sustain whatever kind of connection you have made. In our case, it was truly that friendship. And then the second theme, which I definitely think, and I guess we've touched on this, is what love has joined together. It was the Smokey Robinson version of that, even though others did it. But it is reflective of what Mom did always say about divine order. And some people are just meant to be, some couples are just meant to be. But along with that are those themes of courage, faith, and devotion. When we left the sanctuary, when we got married, we were playing Earth, Wind, and Fire's Devotion.
Devotion. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And people still remember it. Yeah.
Wow. Let's talk about what advice you give to couples. What advice you give to couples who say, okay, what's the secret? What should we do? Or people who might be having struggles or problems in their marriage. What advice do you give them?
Well,
hold up, Ty. Dee has a question.
Okay. If you disagree, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
When you have different opinions on how to approach the situation, how do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Willie knows the matriarch of our family, Aunt Esther. She passed away about a month ago, and she was one of the first people in our lives who gave Pam a pen, and it simply said, "Trust God."
Yes.
And at the time, we didn't really understand exactly what that meant. It's one of those life experience kind of things that you kind of go through some things and you say, okay, this is a spot that we need to trust God, because we're having some issues, maybe finding the common ground that we're looking for. Right. We may be having a disagreement or whatever it is. And so sometimes you have to walk by faith and not by sight.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to go with give us this day our daily bread, and surrendering to God's will. And so that was the thing that allows us to say, okay, if we're going to be in this, we got to understand that this is bigger than us.
Yes.
It's bigger than us. I mean, we got out, we're individuals, and we're trying to do something as a collective, as a couple. And that means the melding of two lives, two energies, two different ways of thinking things. You're not always going to agree, but what you can do is you can try to, I call it fighting fair. Yes. And that is trust that there is no hidden agenda. We got that part out of the way. Regardless of what your perception might be, there is no hidden agenda. My only interest is us coming to the conclusion that's going to be the best for us individually and collectively.
Wow. It's so beautiful to be able to piggyback that by saying, and I definitely second those emotions that Ty just shared. But it's a pleasure, really. It's a birthday to be able to second that emotion by saying that the way that I usually coin it is that we are warriors for our love. I'm thinking about the way that the way that you, and you see how that complements what Ty was saying,
And you got to feel like it's worth fighting for.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You got to feel like it's worth fighting for, because it's hard, man.
Yes.
It's one of the most beautiful things that can ever happen to you, but you don't roll out of bed and get it. You got to fight for it every day. That's why I say, give us this day our daily bread.
And so for those young couples, being able to come into the situation knowing that hopefully they are good, well-intended people, knowing that they're going to be individually flawed like all of us are, and whether or not they are saying, I know that I am ready, that I want, that I am committed to working through each phase of my development with all of the difficulties and challenges that that's going to naturally bring, and be committed to what is it going to take for me to believe in our foundation, and let that energy of what Ty was saying about walking by faith sometimes and not by sight, always being guided by whatever your spiritual base is. For us, it is God. And
Amen.
then to be able to know that you always have a chance to continue to bring things to a better level if you're not quite satisfied, with the way things are happening. And Dee, I do appreciate your saying, in addition to what Willie was saying about, he was saying, what is the secret? And then you said, how is it that you kind of move through those difficulties? One of the main levers or measures, I would say, that helps us know that the relationship is worth it is how we work through conflict. How we, can I say, live through conflict. It's not the absence that's going to mean that we've got a strong bond. It's going to be in the face of embracing the difficulty. That's going to be the measure, of what makes it a warrior.
And I gotta say this as a Black man.
Yeah.
Because the sisters have approached something very differently, and that is professional counseling. Okay, in our neighborhood, it's like, hey man, it ain't nobody's business but yours. What's happening inside your house? But I ain't a subject matter expert, man. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I'm smarter than the average bear boo boo. And so I just said, listen. She said, listen. I've been listening to Archie Chapman on WHUR.
Right. Sure.
And so will you listen to this with me? Will you come to counseling with me? And I'm like, yeah, that ain't how I was raised, but I said to myself, this is important enough that you cannot afford to leave any stone unturned. Okay. And even we had some really, really, really great days, but you can't take that for granted, man. You can't put it on automatic pilot. That's when you hit the pothole and go directly over onto your head. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got, it's an everyday kind of deal.
Yeah.
This is so profound and so important. I'm so glad you said that, Ty, because you're right. Many people need counseling, but one party will not do it. And what you do,
I think they think it makes them weak to ask for help.
Right. And my friend Les Brown, who just sent me a text just a few minutes ago, he has a quote I love. He said, "Asking for help does not make it helps to keep you strong."
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Tam.
Yes.
Go ahead. You sound like you got some more stuff to say. I'm loving what you're saying.
I'm sorry.
Living through conflict.
I love living through conflict, not just going through the conflict.
Yeah.
And then, so you got.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the nourishment. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and we had enough sense to listen. We both come from families where our mom and dads, God bless them, stayed married. Okay, we came from 2-parent households. I mean, that's a rare thing these days in the Black community, man, or in any community, because they say the divorce rate is 50% or whatever it is. When we first started getting together, we were going together, man, most of our friends had already been married and divorced by the time we got engaged. Okay. Wow. We said we're not rushing this thing. There's too much we don't know about it. And so we listened to our family elders, and they just encouraged. They saw something in us.
Yeah.
Sometimes people see some things that you don't see in yourself, man. And when you love them and you trust them.
You said something. I don't want to blow by this. We listen.
That's okay.
We listen. Okay.
Yeah.
Listened. Okay. And that's called mentorship. And what we say in the book is there are 2 ways to a great marriage: mentors or mistakes. Both will get you there if you don't give up. One is get you there with less headaches, heartaches, and knocks upside your head. Get mentors. That's what this show is about. We're not a marriage counselors. We are mentors. And that's what we were glad you said that. I wanted to go into that. How about communication? Now talk about communication.
Well, now, my wife is very, 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 very verbal. Okay. So, I mean, she just believes in talking about any and everything that's on her spirit and on her mind. I'm more like my dad, who you work with, right? I mean, I'm like, I'm very analytical in my approach to things. But you know what? What we've done is we complement each other.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We take the best that she has to offer, the best that I have to offer. And sometimes she's better at something than I am and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And we recognize that and there's no judgment. You know what I'm saying? There's no judgment.
Right.
Because we need each other in that way. Covey, interdependency.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so that's kind of what we roll with.
Wow.
Another piggyback on that. And this is a term that actually I have been developing in my doctoral study, but it really is an indication of how we handle communication. And that is being mutual mentors, if you will. Okay. I'm just telling you, I just learned how to even conceive of that concept while I've been studying. Okay. And what I mean by that in relation to the communication is I have learned so much from Ty about how to use communication as a vehicle for, can I say this, making sense out of what may not seem like it has any sense. Okay.
Okay.
I, on the other hand, and what I think that he may have gotten from me I certainly hear it when he's communicating, is considering, all the perspectives, if you will, that might be relevant to whatever issue is at hand. Right. But we have learned, and we'll even say, I'll say sometimes, well, right now I'm doing a tie, and then I'll communicate in a way that is based on what I have learned from him. And often it's going to be one that encourages clarity, that encourages getting to the core of what the issue is, and to figure out the language that's going to most beautifully complement the emotions of the situation, and vice versa. He might say, well, I'm doing a Pam right now, and it turns out to be something that kind of helps us bring some balance to the scope of what it is that we need to be addressing or understanding better.
Yeah, and I got one for you, man. I was a broadcast journalism major, and then I went to law school. So how, what, when, where.
Right.
I like to get to the point, to the bottom line. Just more like an emotional processing person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I've had to learn to be patient and realize that if I listen long enough and I'm patient long enough, I will come away with a perspective that's going to be helpful for what it is we are trying to figure out. And it takes every resource at your disposal.
Yes.
And if you're not taking the best advantage of the resource that you live with for 24/7, brother, you barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah.
You barking up. You got to remember why you went there in the first place.
I'm willing to listen long enough.
Yeah.
To understand. Seek first to understand, then seek to understood.
Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all are giving a master class in relationship building.
No.
Pam said about, I think it was Pam that said, relationship is not on automatic pilot.
No, but Ty said that.
Ty said that?
Yeah, it's not on automatic pilot. You got to work every day.
Okay. It's not, man.
It's not.
It's not. Oh, man.
We got to give us some more tips that y'all give to couples as we get to the last part of the interview. What are some other secrets to your success?
Tips. You know what?
Yeah, they're not really secrets, really.
Right.
So much of it, so much of it is common sense. And I think that you've got to be willing to. You got to check your. I know.
You know that. All right, go ahead.
I know. No, but you got to be willing to check your ego at the door. Right?
Okay.
I mean, it's like singing "We Are the World." You know what I'm saying? You got to be willing to check your ego at the door, and you got to be willing to admit when you've made a mistake. And you also have to have a level of forgiveness that sometimes you didn't anticipate that you were going to have coming into this thing. I mean, you come into it with one set of ideas about what it's going to be like, and that stuff gets turned on its head, and you don't know which way is up and which way is down, but you love this person, and you know that it is worth figuring it out. So that is what you do. And if the person that you're with is not willing to do that, you're not with the right person, Willie.
Yeah.
You're just not.
Wow.
I'm going to say, before we finish, I'm going to say, add something to what I said about lifelong learning. And I told you, we've expressed how that applies to, the scholastic stuff, the academic work. But I've just realized that we have both a commitment in our own ways to lifelong relating, lifelong connecting, lifelong understanding, lifelong sharing of evolving insights, because it's not just one thing that we would tell anybody. It's going to be a balance of a combination of things that we discover as we're in the process of relating to one another on whatever the case might be. And so that's a revelation that I'm just getting just by being able to have this conversation.
A lot of trial and error, man.
Lifelong relating, lifelong connecting, lifelong rethinking, re-envisioning. It's like rebirth at every stage when you are warriors for your love. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love you guys. Oh my God. I love the way you talk. I love the way you think, and I love your passion for each other and for your relationship. You got some events or some things coming up that we want to. The big event is
October 26th.
October 26th. That's the one, brother. That's the one. Right.
Because that's hard for us.
Yeah.
Right. Would you give an email address if people want to reach out to you and contact you about just your counsel? I mean, I think you guys are a blessing.
Yeah.
Some way to reach you.
ty.esq@verizon.net. And you asking about other things, man. Listen, we are alumni activists at American University. We were Black student activists when we were there as students. Now we're alumni activists. And American University it is a hidden gem, brother. We're doing things there all the time, every day. Students, faculty, administrators, get a hold of us, and we'll give you the rundown of everything that's going on in September and October that you simply do not want to miss. Man, you don't want to miss it.
Yeah, it's a hidden gem. It's a hidden gem that needs to be brought out.
We're in an extended family, and you know that because you're part of it.
Yeah,
that's right. Ty.Harris.ESQ.
Yeah.
The Ty.Harris.ESQ or Ty.Harris.
.ESQ
at Verizon.net.
At Verizon.net.
Okay. Ty.Harris.ESQ at Verizon.net.
Got it.
That's correct. That's correct.
Because people can reach out to you. Look, we just want to thank y'all for being on our show with us. Thank y'all for your love, for your
warriors for your love. I like that.
Warriors for your love. Now let me tell you, for those who listen to my XM show, I always wrap up my show by saying, make sure y'all didn't miss the pearls. They started with friends first. What's your chapter 1 of our book? Friends first. Chapter number 2, trust God. We got to make God an equal part of your marriage. Number 3, be a warrior for your relationship. And then decide to be the last, number 3. And number 4 is talk about everything. Keep growing. Keep evolving. So our book
lifelong relating.
Woo, baby, y'all are on the mark. No wonder y'all are 50 years and still in love like newlyweds. Okay? And let me say, for the record, when they have a party, I don't miss it. They have a house party like nobody else have a house party. I love you guys. Thank y'all for being part of the Jolley Marriage Show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You. Give my best to
Thank
all
you.
the Harris family. And
We
will
will.
go out on our song from my jazz album, Close to You. Here we go. Love
Close
you.
to you.
Thank you. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, D.
Thank you, Dee.
Love you so much.
Love y'all.
Okay.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.